let's get to how the American people are feeling ahead of this election and what they think about these various gentlemen that are running. Put this up on the screen from the Wall Street Journal. They are calling this the election of dread. And they say no one is looking forward to the 2024 presidential election. Trump's indictment and a low approval rating for Biden are leading to voter dread with 16 months to election day. They've got a lot of, great quotes here from actual voters about how they all feel about this. None of this will surprise you all because you probably feel exactly the same, which is looking at the choice of if it's going to be Biden versus Trump, just pure disgust, disillusionment, disappointment. There's nothing hopeful about a rematch between these two elderly gentlemen. I mean, neither one is going to run on a really affirmative agenda. It's all just existential politics. I'll be a bulwark against the other side. And there's, these are aged individuals. You already know what you're going to get with both of them. So any of that sort of excitement, hope, optimism that frequently does exist in American politics as you head into a presidential election season has just been robbed from people. Here's what they say in this piece. They say the two men are universally known, robbing the electorate of the potential to fall in love with someone new. We know based on past performance what you're going to bring to the table. There is nothing more to learn, said Patrick Gray, a Democrat in Bay City, Michigan. I'm tired of it already. Within their own parties, they say Biden and Trump stoke plenty of anxiety to match whatever enthusiasm they can generate from the faithful. Polling suggests a substantial majority of Democrats do not want Biden to run for office again. Trump remains the dominant force in the Republican Party, but many say they are open to someone who does not bring the president's combative divisiveness or the distraction of a grueling court battle. And no one can claim with a straight face that Biden at 80 or Trump at 77 represents the youthful vigor or embodiment of America's bright future that many have found appealing in past presidential candidates. I mean, I think for Trump, there's still plenty of enthusiasm for him within the Republican base. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I don't know that it's like the level of rock stardom and just, over the moon excitement that he had in 2016 with the base, or even in 2020, but they still are psyched about Donald Trump. With Biden, his big problem is with the Democratic base that are just like, really, dude, you're not going to hang it up. Trump's bigger issue is in the general election, where you have more than a majority of the country that is just like, we want nothing to do with you. Like, the chaos, we're exhausted, you're a criminal, you're indicted. Like, why are you even running? You've got a majority of the American people who say it should drop out of the race because of the indictments. So that's the landscape that we're looking at.
My favorite quote was actually this from a voter in Michigan. He says, quote, "We know based on past performance you're going to bring to the table. There is nothing more to learn. I am tired of it already." He's talking there about Biden and about Trump, saying about both. And I actually loved that quote because it's with Trump. There's how many people in this country are undecided about how they feel about Donald Trump? He's dominated our lives for almost 7 years.
Yes.
Biden, too, has been on this. He's been our vice president. I mean, if you think somebody like me, I saw Joe Biden when I was in high school. I'm 31 years old. He's been literally at the forefront of our politics since then for almost, basically half of my life.
No,
and then
my entire life. I mean, not even just yours. He's been
but
in
I'm saying he's been
Washington.
either vice president or at the center or the president. And when you consider Washington, I mean, that is actually, I believe, the vast majority of the lives of the entire American electorate. So when you consider it that way, like, look, he's been in office since 1970 something. He has obviously, he ran for president before I was even born in the 80s. He had his own, scandal. He has had several moments at the very fore. Like, how can you possibly at this point not know how you feel about President Biden, and same about Trump? And that's part of what I think leads to the doom loop is you are not going to change how you feel. Mostly you're going to get to the election. You're going to get to the box and you're just going to be like, which one can I stand which one can I least stand and then not for that person?
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate part.
It's just really depressing because it speaks to a country in decline.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that's what it is. You look at this and you're like, I guess this is where we're at. I guess this is the election that our country deserves at this point is, kind of the overarching sense. And there's another focus group that sort of echoes what a lot of other focus groups who covered here have to say about this matchup. Put this up on the screen. Axios covered this. This was with swing voters in North Carolina who voted for Biden. They voted for Trump previously. They voted for Biden this time around. And all of them say that they are concerned about Biden, that he looks exhausted, that they lack confidence in them whenever they watch him trip over his words or over a sandbag. They say there's really nothing that he could even do at this point to ease their age worries. But although they are hyper-focused on his older age, 9 of the 11 said they would still vote for Biden in a rematch against Trump, who turned 77 on Wednesday. Now, Biden did not win North Carolina, and it is unlikely that it will be a top target for Democrats this time around. So even if they held on to all 11 of the focus group participants, they're probably coming up short in North Carolina. But yeah, none of this speaks to an election where people are affirmatively voting for their candidate of choice. It's all just lesser of two evils, and which one do I hate the least, basically, is what people are looking at. And we've seen the same dynamic play out in multiple focus groups all over the country where people have all kinds of concerns about Biden. But then when it comes down to it, they're like, well, I guess he's better than Trump, so I guess I'll suck it up and vote for him.
It's really pathetic, Krystal. And also, I mean, you found this phenomenal graphic of word clouds showing how voters feel about the focus groups and voters and how they feel about our various candidates. Put the first one up there on the screen about how people view Biden. What's that word cloud of when they're asked to describe him in a single word? Oh, old. Number 2, incompetent. I also love all of the other ones surrounding it. Corrupt, bad, failure, idiot, puppet, smaller type, trustworthy, helpful, adequate, but also
Those were my favorite.
I mean, effective, kind of small. Pedophile, I guess, is on there. That's interesting. What else do we have that I could see? Weak, useless. I mean, clearly people are not that happy. Now, I don't want to just cherry pick. There are some honest, some competent, some leaders, some presidentials that do make it. But overwhelmingly, what's the word that comes through? Old, and then second, incompetent. That's why I think the word cloud and the averages of how these people responded in this poll are so important.
You know what was funny with Biden, and we'll get to, they did ones with DeSantis and Trump as well, and they broke it out by, so the word cloud you're looking at here was among all voters, and the number one word is old. Even if you break it out by just Democratic voters, that's still the number one word.
Whereas he's old.
Whereas, actually, guys, put the Trump one up on the screen. That's the third one in the list. So with Trump amongst all voters, the number one word is criminal. I certainly sympathize with that take. You also have liar, evil, dangerous, crazy, asshole. And then in smaller type, the positive words you have here are leader, patriot, strong, awesome, businessman. And so what's different here is actually if you look at independent voters with Trump, it's a very similar word cloud. You've got criminal, liar, evil, et cetera. If you look at Republican voters, though, they have very positive associations with him still. So I think some of the top for them were like patriot, leader, businessman, awesome, were some of the strongest ones for Republican voters of Donald Trump. Whereas, again, with Biden, even with Democrats, the number one word was old. And what that shows me is not that, oh, that means Donald Trump's in stronger position than Joe Biden. It just is, again, reflective of the fact that Trump has much more enthusiasm among his base and his core group of supporters than Joe Biden does. If Biden wins this general election coming up, which I think there's a good chance that he will, I still think that he is likely the favorite just because of incumbency and because people are so done with Donald Trump and he's under multiple indictments and all that stuff. But it won't be because people are super psyched about another term of Biden. It will be basically a vote against Trump. I mean, and that's what is so obnoxious about our politics is everything is just about how do you feel about the human being named Donald Trump. It really is not much about the issues, not about what anybody's going to deliver for your lives, as we discussed earlier with the union messaging and all of that. It's just literally a referendum. How do you feel about Donald Trump?
Yeah, unfortunately, and that's the Trump effect really on our politics, but it's also the most likely.
Hey guys, if you like that video, go to breakingpoints.com, become a premium subscriber, and help us build the best independent media organization on the planet.
That's right. We're subscriber funded. We're building something new. We want to replace these failing mainstream media organizations.
So again, to subscribe, it's breakingpoints.com.